Welcome to another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. I'm Kristin Macari, and I'm here with your host,
Jeanine Corcoran, broker for Corcoran Connect, a real estate company.
It is time for our market report for July of 2024. Yeah. Summer went fast.
Very fast. Kids are back in school in Florida, and it's just craziness already.
I know. And it's so funny because I felt like also we got to July and it was like, how are we at the end of the month already? It went so fast.
Holidays will be here before you know it.
Absolutely. When is it socially acceptable to decorate for Halloween?
For you? Right now.
Okay, good. I'm just, listen, Starbucks recently came out with their fall lineup for their drinks already. You can get pumpkin spice lattes and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. So I guess if Starbucks is doing it, I can decorate for Halloween.
As if we could all afford Starbucks. Okay. We just had the whole financial talk. I don't know. I'll save my money. Sorry, Starbucks.
Listen, okay, you have to download the app though, because when you download the app, you get notifications every day because they do drink specials. So I wait for the days that are buy one, get one free, or get two drinks for the price of one, or, there's happy hour in the middle of the day, things like that. And then it becomes,
Truthfully, I'm a Dunkin' Donuts, so
I know.
I'm not a Starbucks person.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
I used to be a Dunkin' girl. I really did. And then then Starbucks had better food. So when we would go for breakfast, I would enjoy getting their food. And now I just really like their drinks. So they got me. But anyway, so let's go ahead and start with 34769. What do you got for us?
So 34769, which is the downtown area of St. Cloud, which is near the lakefront. And we had 31 homes that sold. 26 of them were single stories at $247.39 price per square foot. And then two stories, we had 5 at $188.53 price per square foot. That's more like it.
Yes. You guys don't know, that was our third try. That's awesome. So that actually brings our month over month price increase of 1.46%, and year over year it's up 5.48. So almost 5.5% from July of 2023. The median days to contract was 23. So even the 34769 sat on the market for about 3 weeks before it got under contract. And then days to close were 69 days.
Oh, wow. When you say days to close, that's from contract to close?
That is, I believe it's from list to close.
List to close, okay.
Yep, the actual days on market. So currently there's 77 active homes in 34769 zip code. So that gives you about a 2.5 month supply. So still low, but it's starting to finally creep up. 34769 was always the one that was super low, super hot, but even that's starting to sit just a little bit. So
I'll be curious about 34771, which I'm just starting in now. Is we had 70 homes that sold. Of that, there were 37 single stories at $270.21 price per square foot. And on the two stories, we had 33 that sold at $213.45. So curious how much that has changed.
Yeah, so month over month, that's up 9.3%. And then year over year, it's up 10%.
And we're not including new builds in this, right?
So the average price per square foot includes new builds. What it doesn't, new builds are not included with our median days to contract, which was 63. Okay. So that's if you have a resale home. It took just over 2 months to get under contract for the most part. And then 100 days to close. So you're looking at, 3 plus a little months to get closed in the 34771 zip code. And there's 322 active homes on the market, and that's just everything listed in the MLS. That's not even including 100% of the new construction that's out there. So you've got a 4.6 month supply in 34772.
A lot of building going on there.
Yeah, there really is.
Then we have 34772, which is backed by the Manor. We have 52 homes that sold. Of that, 31 was single stories at $239.72 price per square foot, and two stories we had 21 at $197.21 price per square foot.
Yep, and so in 34772, your month over month averages stayed pretty much the same. It says down 0.1%, but I mean that's nothing. That's the equivalent of having one more 2-story than a 1-story, and then year over year, you're up about 2.89%. So it's about 3% gain from July of 2023. It currently took a median days to contract of 48 days to go under contract. So, a month and a half. And then days to close were 88. So about 3 months to get closed there. With the current active listings of 238 homes, you're looking at a month supply of 4.6 months.
Oh, wow.
So you've got a pretty healthy supply in the 34772 area.
That's really good. Then in 34773, we had 31 homes that sold. Of that, 22 of them were single stories. We had $221.96 price per square foot, and the 2 stories, 9 of them at $183.70 price per square foot.
And your month over month averages there, again, this month it's been like all greens. So that's great. It's up 2% month over month. And then year over year, you're up just about almost 13%. It's 12.69% an increase in the 34773 area. Days to contract, median days to contract were 66 days. So just over 2 months to get under contract and 109 days to close. So you're like 3.5 months to get closed. And that's, again, counting all of 34773, the single family homes. There's currently 98 active single family homes listed. So that gives you about a 3-month supply.
Oh, wow. So then let's go to vacant land, then we can do the Harmony report. Yep. So on the vacant land, we had 10 parcels that sold. All of them were cash except for one. Looks like the largest one was on LaSalle. And let's see, the list price was $850. It sold for $725,000, and it was 9.64 acres. Wonder what they're building there.
I'm very curious. LaSalle is it's kind of like,
I have a contract on LaSalle.
Do you?
Yeah, it's only 2 acres though. 2 acres and a house.
Yeah, it's a nice quiet street, so it'd be let's hope it's not a development.
Yeah.
We're good. No, thank you. We're good on that.
We have enough houses.
Yeah.
We have way more houses than we need.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
my opinion.
Yep, for sure. Especially out that way. Like that used to be the sleepy way to get from Harmony to like the Turnpike, and now there's like so many new subdivisions that it hardly makes it worth it. You're almost better off going down 192.
So in Harmony, Maine, we had 12 properties that sold. And of the 12 properties, we only had one condo. Actually, I'm not even sure. Is this one a house or condo? 3.5? No, I believe it's a townhouse. Oh, it says right there, townhouse. Sorry. Only one townhouse sold, and it was listed for $324 and sold for $318. That was a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Then we had 3 townhouses on 5 Oaks. Those were the brand new ones, and they came in at $188.20 price per square foot. Of the resales, we only had 3 properties that sold. 2 of them were single stories at $226.44, and then the 2-story came in at, I don't see where the 2-story is.
The bottom, Primrose.
Oh, thank you, Primrose. Okay, Primrose came in at $163.21. Thank you.
Yep.
I couldn't see that.
No problem.
Then we go into the custom homes. We had 2 custom homes that came in. They came in at $180.57 price per square foot. In the lakes, that's our 55 and older. So we have South Lake and East Lake. And they came in, of course, they're all single stories. Well, except for a couple of houses that have the big
bonus room.
Yeah, big bonus room. They came in at $192.95 price per square foot.
Okay.
You want to go on to Harmony?
Yep. And so then over in Harmony West, there were quite a few new townhomes that were built. And so your townhomes that are over there that sold, there looks like there were 11 that sold. It was $219.65 a square foot. And then you have your single family homes that are in Harmony West, combination of new and resale homes. And the 1 stories came out to $224.78 a square foot. And the 2 stories, there were 2 of them, and it was $171.50. And then Harmony Central, which is on the other side of Harmony, there were 5 total sales there that were recorded in the MLS. And out of those 5 sales, there was one story. It was $257.17 per square foot. And then the 2 stories, there were 4 of them at $185.46.
And they over at Harmony Central, there's 2 builders over there.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep. So that kind of takes care of your market report for the St. Cloud and Harmony area for July of 2024. Look at that. I want to bring us way back, right? It's funny because I just read this article about how, housing in, the country, because, you always see those national headlines, right? You get to serve those national headlines about how, this was July 2024 was the slowest month for home sales and everything slowed down since, like, if you exclude the pandemic, it goes back to like 2012. So I was curious. I was like, did that affect our local market in St. Cloud? And there was basically no difference.
Oh, it's interesting.
So like we're not.
It feels very slow, though, doesn't it?
It feels super slow, but I guess there just must be such an abundance of, houses. It's interesting. It just I looked for the numbers because I was like, sure, I just want to validate this article that I read because it'd be great to you know.
And that's a problem too. When people see interest rates, they always see the national news. And I was told by several of our mortgage people that when you see the national interest rate, just know that Florida is always higher.
Right.
It's always higher.
Right.
So just take that into consideration. It's best to always find out the interest rate from a local lender. Then you know for sure.
Do we know why? And I don't mean to throw you that curveball.
I asked.
Okay. So what's the reason?
It's because there's a lot of fraud in Florida. Okay. Fraud in Florida. Yeah, there's a lot of fraud. So I guess like
the rates, it's riskier here.
Yeah, riskier. The insurance is high.
Everything's just higher.
Everything's just higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I also noticed that, some buyers came off the fence, which thank you, but there's still a lot of buyers just in the background waiting. And so historically, there's data on this. Historically, during a presidential election, the interest rate has always been lowered in September. Right. So the Feds is supposed to meet on September 17th or 18th, I believe.
Right.
But again, how much are they going to lower it to make a difference for families?
Right. And that's the thing. Like we've gotten to the point, I think housing got to a point that like between the price of the house and the interest rate where it's actually kind of almost favorable for families to rent versus to buy. Like you know what I mean? Like we've kind of reached that cusp where it's like both. And so if you're a family that doesn't have a ton of extra cash, like maybe renting makes sense because now you're not responsible for, you don't have to worry about replacing your AC or, doing repairs to the house or what for emergencies, right? Mm-hmm. Like you just call up your landlord and, hopefully it gets fixed. But, we're kind of at that point where I feel like the incentive to buy it's not,
it's good. Well, I just closed one with Hometown Heroes. That was good. That's good. Yeah, I hadn't closed one of those in a long time, and they paid all the closing costs. They even got a home warranty.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and I heard they ran out of money already.
Well, I checked at the beginning of the week. It was already cut in half. I don't know. I didn't see the one. If they did, they did. I'm sure it's soon.
I will say that I saw that posted by a mortgage broker friend of ours that like I just assumed that it was out of money, but maybe it's not. But I'm sure it's close. So, but that's great that you were able to get one closed with the Hometown Heroes program and
the package was this thick.
Oh,
it was over 300 pages.
Oh my goodness.
They had to sign for the first loan, and then they had to sign for the Hometown Heroes. Almost the same papers.
Wow.
Double. Yeah.
That's crazy.
A long closing.
Imagine having a power of attorney.
No.
If anybody has had to close as a buyer with a power of attorney, it's a
nightmare.
It is.
It's a nightmare for the person signing.
Right. Just because it's like, it's John Smith, power of attorney for Jan Smith. And that's how your signature and all your, handwritten lines are.
Besides they're signing probably for themselves.
Yeah. So anyway, power of attorney, that's a good one. But yeah, so I guess we'll see kind of what happens with the rest of the year. I feel like everything's just kind of like nothing crazy. Going on. I feel like everybody's just like waiting, sitting on the fence like, hey, is it going to get really good and I'll jump back in or am I going to just renew my lease? So,
and still like, even like I talk for Harmony for a second in like Harmony, Maine, like our competition are all these new builds.
Right.
You have a brand new house you could buy for under $400,000.
Right.
With a 4.99% interest rate, with all your closing costs paid.
Right.
How does a
resale
seller compete with that?
Right. And to kind of piggyback on that, you have to think like, one of the things that Florida struggles with is a homeowners insurance crisis, right? Like, I mean, let's be real. That's a crisis where the homeowners insurance is
crazy,
ridiculous. But if you buy a new home, you at least have 5 years of really good rates before you're going to have to start paying more and having to replace things and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of incentives to buying new construction. I do think that you lose out on some of the charm of the established neighborhoods.
The mature trees and things like that.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, if it's about your monthly mortgage payment and what you're, and then the peace of mind to not have to worry about replacing an AC in 2 years, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, hey, I probably have at least 10 years with this AC unit before I'm going to have to, you hope, if they're using good products. So, anyway, so I'll be curious to see how the year wraps up in Florida. We definitely are not following the national news headlines. So whatever you see out there, just make sure you check in with your local agent.
Definitely local.
Our data is not backing up those numbers, at least in our little area of the world. So, Anyway, thanks so much for joining us for this month's episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. Remember, you can find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also check us out online at
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the above. I think it's on LinkedIn. I mean, there's no place that you can't find it.
Right. And if you have any comments, questions, you can shoot us an email at discoverstcloud@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at
1-844 St. Cloud. That's STCLOUD.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.